to this episode of the Corporate Escapists TV show and podcast. I am your host, Christine Innes. I'm delighted to have the very beautiful Eva all the way from Bali. Welcome, beautiful.
Welcome, Christine. I am so excited for today. This is going to be magic.
It is. And you're talking one about my favorite topic today. I'm going to get myself carried away. I'm going to let you introduce yourself to the audience, and then we're going to ask some really amazing questions to really inspire people today.
Amazing. Hey guys, I am Eva Kaszycki, crazy Polish name, but I was born in Brisbane, Australia. I am a wealth coach for leaders worldwide. I do things a little bit differently, which is really tying in all universal laws, all quantum physics, all things energy related, because I realized that I was doing all the things the way that they tell you to do them and nothing was working. So after being in business with my main company, my Foreva event planning and styling business that was doing so well, I started to coach and mentor a lot of leaders. And then it kind of put me into this whole new world where now I have a company in Australia, I have a company in Bali, I live in Bali, I live my dream life, I travel a lot. I've got three beautiful young kids, all under 10. I'm a single mom, but I don't really like that word because I'm so freaking supported. It's wild. I've got a beautiful relationship with my ex-husband, and I preach and embody the way that we need to live limitlessly. And that's truly how I live my life. I jump into the deep end, and the universe is forever catching me and guiding me and supporting me and just constantly letting the money chase me and love me and just really being guided by what do I feel called to do and allowing life to take me on that journey instead of the journey of what do I need to do to please everyone else and please the world around me. So, yes, I'm so excited to jump in and really show your audience how they can live absolutely limitlessly and just be in that energy of jumping out of bed every single day with like tears of joy because life is so freaking good and delicious that you can't wait to get up in the morning. And so that is what I'm here for.
I love all of that because as somebody who has obviously gone through like so much and, you know, then to sort of then start to, I guess, like for me, like I didn't realize it was like a wake up call from the universe. I believe that the universe sends you three signs. It's either the feather, which is the little tickle. Sometimes you get the brick on your foot and then you get the Mack truck. Well, I've had the Mack truck multiple times to say wake up. But, you know, when you are in the midst of everything, and like, let's face it, like life is so busy these days. How do people sort of come back to go, is this my intuition? Is this the universe? Like, whoever you believe, like really telling you something within yourself? Because I think that's the first step for people to really get connected to recognize signs.
Oh my gosh, 100,000%. So I guess, in that quick intro, what I left off is I have been through more darkness than most people. I left home at 15. My father took his life when I was 13. I was molested. I've been homeless before. I have been in the most traumatic events during childhood, which in adulthood, early adulthood resulted in me recreating that. How could I drink as much alcohol as I possibly can, do all the drugs in the world, get locked in jail cells, be in, recreating all that trauma? And you're so right. I believe that you're always in the right place at the right time in the right moment, and you're always on path. But we have a shadow path, which we can experience life, but it may not be our highest possible timeline. There's nothing wrong being on the shadow path because there's so many golden nuggets of wisdom there. But if we're always on the shadow path, it just feels so much slower and glunkier and like, are we ever gonna get there? And so I always look at life like the arrow. We have to pull back into the darkness to project our launch forward into the light. And the universe, and you would know this so well, like when you're not on path or you've played around in the shadow for a little bit too long, the universe loves balance. So it's going to be like, hey, I'm going to wake you up by taking all your money away, or I'm going to wake you up by having that partner abuse you, or things that are going to really get your attention, because then you're like, well, I can't not look at this. I've got to look at this. I've got no money to pay for anything, so I've got no choice but to give my money the respect it deserves. I've got no choice but to really go deep with how I need to change in this moment so I can get the arrow to let go and projectile launch forward. So yes, the universe always does have your back. I fully believe that. And I believe that when you're in the darkest place, something that I'm always preaching to my audience is that there's a beautiful law of assumption. I don't know if you've heard of it by Neville Goddard. And it's just always assume that everything is working out for you before it happens. And when we're looking at this from a multi-dimensional way, our soul is, we close our eyes, we can go to the Maldives, we can go to Jupiter, we can go to Mars, we can go, back in time, we can go forward in time, we can go anywhere when we close our eyes. Now, that is that's what I believe is the true us. That's our soul. We can tune into anything. And when you go, oh, that's not real. Well, if I told you right now to close your eyes and imagine biting into a lemon, well, all your senses get weird and they're like, oh, your eyes get teary. If I tell you to envision something that lights you up, your whole body gets excited. So how is that not real? But we perceive this dense reality, which is old news. So the reality that we can see is an old replica of our thoughts and our feelings and our emotions. So the biggest trick and where we can get from the darkness and, that place where it feels like the world's caving in on us is realizing that who we're being is the reality of what we're seeing. And all we need to do is keep embodying the wealthy version of us, give it a little bit of time, stay with it, don't fault on it, because the 3D reality is so dense, it takes a while to shift. And it's okay you have to learn patience in that respect. I believe you can manifest anything in the given moment. You literally close your eyes, you've manifested it. It's already done. Don't ever give the universe or any thought to anything other than the fact that it's done. Because when we change the internal state, the 3D reality gets confused. And it's the hardest art to master because we were never taught it in school. But it's really just going, everything's working out for me no matter what. And when the 3D reality reflects back a reality that looks like it's not working, everything's working for me no matter what. And
Mm.
it's not about being delusional, it's just about being in alignment with your soul.
Mm. When I first started on my sort of spiritual journey or my awakening, and that there's two phrases that really hit hard, and one I really struggled with. The first one was, it's not happening to you, it's happening for you. And I just thought, oh, I can't get my head around now. Like, I totally understand it. And the other word is surrender. And everything that you just said in that, like, really sums up the two things, because when we let go and really fully surrender, that's when the magic really starts to happen, because you're actually not actually trying to control everything. You're just allowing things to be. But when you learn from those moments, and I ever call everything a moment because they can last a day, a month, a year, whatever it is, that they're a moment in our lives, but to see the gift that we can get out of that. And sometimes that's hard when you're right in the middle of it all, but then to come out from the other side, from what you've even experienced, like to come out from the other side to now help other people, when they're in those moments as well, but then also to surrender to allow all the goodness in as well.
Mm. Yeah, I love that. One of the best books I ever read was The Surrender Experiment by Michael A. Singer. And it is, I think like there's a lot of pieces to this, and then it's also so simple. It's like our mind can constantly try to create and compartmentalize and go through all these things. And then really the truth is that everything happens in the now. And the reason I feel a lot of people are stuck is because, and I always say I'm a universal translator, because people don't understand how to communicate with the universe. And the universe doesn't really understand words, it only understands vibration and now. And a lot of the time we think of our future visions as if they're in the future or in the past. We never think about it in the now. And when people are trying to bring in money, they're like, oh, that would be nice. Or we almost bypass it by pushing it away left, right, and center. And instead of going, no, I'm already wealthy now. That's not lying. You are wealthy. Like, have you seen how many threads are in the thread count on your sheets, or
Mm.
grains of sand, or mass of the ocean? We live in a world where there's like, even behind you right now, that plant, like there's just so many leaves on it. Like, we live in a world with so much abundance, but we've been conditioned and programmed not to see it. And so it is really just surrendering to who we are and allowing more of who we are to come through us and allow life to be expressed through us. At our highest possible frequency, the money's rolling in like crazy because money's just energy. The opportunities are coming in left, right, and center. The beautiful life is just moving through us. And what you were just talking about, Christine, like it is it's such a mindset because we're like, well, how could it happen for us? Because we've been so programmed to be negative and,
Mm.
stuck in survival mode and feel like in scarcity. And it's like all the words speak truth, scarcity. How do you scare a city? Scarcity. Like it's everything's like words cast spells. That's why they call it spelling. But it's really just an awakening. And that's truly what I do. I awaken people to wealth consciousness because we haven't been taught how to really feel wealth and life and abundance. And yeah, I love that. And I think where a lot of people get stuck with surrender is I don't want it to take a long time. And it doesn't, nothing in life has to take time when you're in the now. Like you can already experience it when you close your eyes. You've already manifested it. What next? What next? Why does it have to physically be in the 3D so you can touch it for it to be real? When you can go there a million times in your mind and it's more real in your mind. And then that's how we manifest because we form such a solid picture in our mind that it has to project into the 3D reality. But a lot of people keep changing their pictures in their mind. So the 3D reality is like, I've got no idea what you want me to project. You're happy one second, you're negative the next second, you're all over the shop. And so it's a mastery of who we're being every day because the universe is always going to manifest the dominant state of being because that's what you're seeing internally, which is 80%, and then 20%, boom, on the projector screen of life.
Mm. I love the word that you said, being, because I'm such a huge, big fan of like people say, well, what are you going to do? It's like, no, it's not about what you're going to do, it's who you're going to be. And I think if we focus more on the being side, like of who we want to be, what's the person that you, I guess, like in a way, I call it the legacy that you want to be known for. And if you
Mm.
can, carve that up in like an essence, with it, it really does take away so many other things in life that we're sort of looking towards. Like, I've got to do this, I've got to do that. Well, no, just focus on the being part of, who you're being to your soul, to that core.
Mm. I love that so much. And being is so easy when you've healed all your shit and it is a practice, it is a constant practice of every time you pay for something. Like when I pay for things now, I feel like the entire ocean and universe is just coming in to support me and pay for that one tiny coffee or, that crazy multiple six-figure coach or whatever it is, whatever I buy, the whole universe comes and supports me in that. And that's practice. That's everyday practice. I used to be anxious as all hell. Every time money left my account, I'd almost go into a panic attack. And so that's years of being conscious, living in the now, practicing when I pay for things, everything supports me. And it almost feels orgasmic when I pay for things now. So money uh, operates with me on that frequency. And that's what
Mm.
we have to get conscious of through being. It's how are we being every day? And it is being so self-aware. Like the other day, I was doing something, and one of my kids came in, and I was thinking about something, and I wasn't present, and I noticed it straight away. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so like I didn't apologize. I just quickly looked at my child, and I was like, "Hey, beautiful, how are you?" Because I thought, how many times in life are we missing out on the most beautiful things right in front of us because we're not being present? We're
Mm.
not really being present is how we manifest a life beyond our wildest dreams because that's the only way the universe can communicate with us. It's how can I make the $1 million now? How can I receive those 10 clients now? Not this week, not this month, not this year. It's now. Who do I need to be to manifest that now and really bring everything into the now? I have an abundance of clients now. Everything is moving for me now. Every day, money, opportunities, limitless, happy, healthy, joyous people are constantly finding their way to me now. And that is, true being. It's every single day, but it does definitely take practice because none of us are perfect. And I think where a lot of my clients, and I don't know about you and your friends and your community, get stuck is when they fall off the bandwagon, they beat themselves up instead of just going, I'm a human. I love you. Like if I yell at my kids, I grab myself and I'm like, I love you. I love you. And I see you. And I hug that inner child that threw that tantrum.
Mm.
And then I'm back on my jolly old way. And I'm like, boom, like I'm a human. I'm living out the human experience. It's not for me to yell at myself like the parent every time I screw up, and not even screw it up, because when it comes to universal law, the universe doesn't know the difference between $1 and a million. It just knows that you're willing to manifest $1 easier than a million. The universe doesn't know if you've been bad or good. It just knows if you're pouring love on everything or not. Or, you're connected to the source of infinite wisdom and infinite intelligence, with which is love. Or you're chopping yourself off all the time because you're always angry or unsatisfied or not grateful or throwing tantrums. So when something doesn't go the way that you would like, and you overreact, or you do the thing that you perceive as being disconnected from love, it's pouring love back on that thing so you can reconnect to the source of all that is.
Oh, I love that so much, so much. I recently did a talk where I talked about that, during a period of time, I lived with two best friends and they were called shame and guilt. And they literally lived on my shoulder. And I would walk around with my head down because I didn't want to face people like in the eye, because it was my own story. It was nobody else's. It was just how I was portraying myself, because second marriage has ended, like I wasn't working, I just filed for bankruptcy, like all these things that would had fallen into place. But when we live in that shame and guilt, we forget that we are just simply human beings, and like you said, we're here to have a human experience. And if we I don't like the word failure anymore. It's like, what lesson can I learn from it? What can I grow and evolve from this lesson now?
I love that. I love that so much. It's a gold mine. And yes, having 3 kids for the first year, I had a coach that was just like, how does guilt serve you? How does guilt serve you? Because I had mummy guilt all the time, and she just drilled it into me. And now I never feel guilty. I never feel shameful. I've done the most horrific things in my life, and I've got no guilt and shame to any of it. And it doesn't mean that I am that person anymore. I've been to a million of my funerals to become this version of self. But
Mm-hmm.
I love that. That is just the most powerful thing on the planet. And I think everyone can learn something from that, because every time you guilt or shame yourself, you cut yourself off from the infinite flow of all that is. And there's a few things that I will never, ever, ever say before, like what you just said about failure. Like, failure is not a word in my vocabulary. Like, obviously, I'm using it now, but it's not a word. Problems are not a word. Solutions are a word. Busy is not a word. Like, I've changed all these words. So instead of using busy, I use profitable. Instead of using problems, I use the word solutions. Instead of using failure, I learn lessons and growth. And it's just literally eliminating all these things, because
Mm.
who we are is what we're being. And yes, duality of everything always comes, and duality is normal in this physical plane and this life, but who we are more of, we will get more of, because the universe is just a mirror.
Yeah.
It's we got people like, I don't understand how the universe works. I'm like, cool, okay, who are you being? People like, give me money. And then the universe is like, give me money. And if you say to the universe, how can I serve you? The universe is like, well, how can I serve you? And so it's
Yes.
really just who we're being every day and what we're giving out every day, because that is the gold mine. And that's why you would have so many beautiful opportunities and meet the most beautiful people, because you're putting this beautiful podcast out to the world, and it's your soul, and it's not, you're not doing it for the money. This is coming purely from your heart and who you are as a person, and the incredible journey that you've been on, to actually come to this beautiful place in your life and go, you know what, I'm going to give back in a really beautiful way and put this podcast out to the world. And
Mm.
that's what you're doing. And that's why the universe is serving you so greatly. And yeah, it's so beautiful.
Yeah, oh, look, absolutely, 100%. I really want to talk about money. Money was a big story in my life. Obviously, going through bankruptcy. Again, I lived with shame and guilt because that was a part of my life. However, what I learned was that it didn't define me. But another thing is, I was interviewing an amazing businesswoman, and I shared that. And she said to me, "Welcome to the Millionaires Club." Because once you've actually gone through something like that, generally, well, I shouldn't say generally, but a lot of people who have either gone through bankruptcy or had money situation in their life, they do understand and start to appreciate money in a completely different way. It's like that real healthy relationship and understanding the giving and the taking of it.
I love that. And yes, she's 100% right. I fully believe that. And look, my life path number is an 8. So from birth, I was having horrific nightmares around money, because my parents would scream every single night, like abusive fights around money, but we had a lot of money. So my pattern from that childhood was manifest insane amounts of money, give it away. Manifest insane amounts of money, give it away. So being in business, I don't think there is a great opportunity to learn about money and abundance than business. Money is purely in the world so that our souls can understand wealth from the 3D plane. That is the only reason it's here. And you put money in the good hands of a good person, they will do good things. A bad person, they will do bad things. And so all of my community always come to me because they want to learn how to make more money, how to really step into the multiple 5-figure, 6-figure, 7-figure months and really just live so limitlessly that they're not worried about it anymore. And I have got clients that are multimillionaires. I've got clients that are even billionaires. And one thing that is really important to notice is that if you don't heal fear, lack, and scarcity on the bottom level, it doesn't matter if you have $1 billion, you will still be living in fear, lack, and scarcity. It doesn't mean you can't manifest $1 billion, but what's the point when you have $1 billion in your bank account, but you feel like you're still living in fear, lack, and scarcity? And so dealing with, I'm getting so many goosebumps right now. I don't know if you can see them. Dealing with fear, lack, and scarcity is what we were brainwashed with at birth so that we don't, and through our lives, so that we don't realize how limitlessly we can truly and utterly live. And so what I do with a lot of my clients is there's so many pieces to this, and I'll go through them as quickly as possible because I'm mindful of time. But the first and foremost thing that I would always do, if you are finding yourself in bankruptcy or in a hard time, what you have to realize is that you have got an insane number of patterns and programs that you've downloaded between the ages of 0 and 7 that you are still operating with. What you have to understand is that it is hard work to get rid of those patterns and programs. I'm not going to say that they can just easily flourish. You'll get rid of one and then there'll be another belief stuck, and then you'll get rid of another one. There'll be another one stuck, and you're like, I'm getting rid of all of them and I still don't understand why. You have to completely delete every single thing in you that is not wealthy to manifest wild amounts of wealth. It is running towards the deep end and learning how to swim. And a lot of when clients come to me, I have this 6 weeks to quantum wealth program. People are like, I just want to be rich. The truth is, yes, you want to be rich, but if you have 4 walls over your head and you are comfortable, you don't actually want it. You're not actually really, 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 really ready for it because you're happy, you're safe, you're looked after. If you truly want it, you are ready to risk everything to get it. And it's going to be uncomfortable and it's not going to be easy. It's going to be jumping through every single fear that has ever held you back in your entire life. Everybody that has manifested insane amounts of money has realized that everything in their life must die. And I'm just being so truthful and honest. I don't want to give you the let's close our eyes and manifest and it all just gets to come.
Yeah.
So, and this is the truth, because our souls already manifested the millions. You've already manifested them, but this dense body has got a lot of trauma stuck in it. And the dense body is what is holding down your vibration. 5% of us is conscious, 95% is unconscious. My work with my clients is to clean out the 95% of shit that's blocking you from living in a higher vibration so that you can manifest insane amounts of abundance. So the first things that you can start doing that are easier than the other things is getting rid of toxic people out of your life. The toxic people you have in your life are a mirror of you. They're a mirror of the toxic parts within you that you need to delete. Getting rid of all the old things in your cupboards, old energy, old stagnant blockages. If you are, and some people come to me, they don't even realize why they're in my world, but they come to me because they know that they're meant to leave a relationship, but their head is so locked into I can't do this, and that's okay. I knew, well, I didn't know I was meant to leave my husband for a long time, but deep down I always knew, and it took me a long time. So I have love and understanding for people that are stuck because I've been there. When I left my husband, all the money came through because that was one of my biggest blockages. It doesn't mean he's a bad person. It means I manifested him through childhood trauma. And that was the life I manifested from the old version of me, not the new version of me. So we have to clean out all the 95%. So we can look at the 95% through what's manifesting. So is the money coming in, but then you've got nothing at the end of the month? Looking back at those old beliefs that are keeping you stagnant. And there's a lot of different things that I usually play with my work. One of them is time. Time's huge because I always say to people, you don't have a problem with manifesting money if you've always manifested it from birth. Money is coming all the time. Your issue is with time. It's I don't have enough time. Time's not working out for me because what we want to do is we want to collapse the time so the money manifests faster. So
Mm.
when we have a better relationship with time, the money actually comes in quicker. Another facet that's really important about this work is your energetic capacity. How much can you physically hold? Because a lot of clients will come to me and they'll make these really, really big months and then they'll go back down. They're not able to stabilize them because this big month takes a new energy. Now, if you've made a big month and you've come back down, beautiful, because what has just happened there is the universe is showing you how powerful you are to manifest it. Awesome. You reached it. Woohoo. You got to the top of the mountain. Now you've got all this work to stabilize the frequency, to stabilize the strength, the energy, because up here, you're jumping out of the bed with nothing but gratitude. I wake up and I say good morning to my beautiful mansion in Bali, the rice fields, the people, the kids, my scooter, my food, my phone, my like I am like freaking Mary Poppins. I'm like, good morning. Like it's a next level of gratitude that the average person doesn't have. And when I was broke, I didn't have that level of gratitude. It was,
Mm.
where's the money? Why isn't this working out? I would never jump out of bed like thinking, holy shit, I am alive today. I am
Yes.
alive. I've got air in my lungs. Like the universe is the best way to give the universe the biggest hug is to be grateful. Every time the money comes in, gratitude. Every time it goes out, gratitude. So there's a lot of different pieces to manifesting more money. But the first one is to decide. It's to decide that you are never going to get off that frequency no matter what. And what a lot of people do when they're amateurs and they're just starting out on this work is maybe they manifest a client that's $10,000. They get the client, then they focus on the work of the client, which there's nothing wrong with, but they're not able, they're living very one-dimensionally. So they get the money in, then they're working on the client. They're not, okay, cool, the client, we're working on it. They don't outsource that to their team and then hold the frequency of more clients, more money. I'm worth more than this. So the biggest foundational piece to this is self-worth. It's standards. It's okay, cool. I'm looking at my life. You really have to make a solid internal shift that you're ready for more money because you're raising your standards, because you've absolutely looked at your reality. And this is why being bankrupt, and I had the same thing when I left my husband, my ex-husband, everything fell to shit. I had a massive office, I had a penthouse apartment, I had all these staff wages I had to pay. And I was getting eviction notices. I was months behind in my office rent. My staff were sending me invoices and I couldn't pay any of them. It was like the weight of the world on my shoulders had just come down. And in that moment, thank God, I had had my awakening years before. I'd done a lot of ayahuasca and all these, crazy spiritual things. And I was able to go, I know how to do this. I would put my arms out to the sky every single day and just go, thank you, thank you, thank you. I would feel like an orgasm was rushing through my body. Um, every single day when I had $0 to my name and I didn't know how I was going to afford to pay rent. My body, don't get me wrong, my body and my nervous system was crashing down hard. I would lay on the floor and I go, I'm not getting up out of this meditation until I have some answers. And
Mm.
it was huge. And then within a few months, I had multiple six figures in my account. Like it was wild, but it was fucking painful. But I was okay to do the work and I did the work and I rolled up my sleeves and I just kept visualizing and I didn't do anything. I took 2 years off coaching. I didn't feel worthy of coaching because I was like, I can't do this. And then coaching found me again. I started
Mm.
the free 888 Wealth Coach community and all of a sudden the whole group filled up. And then everyone was just asking me for my services, which was so beautiful in that business. Um, but yeah, it is really making sure that you first and foremost decide that your reality is not good enough for you and you're ready to raise your standards. That's number one. Secondly, is you must love yourself unconditionally. If you can't look in the mirror and love yourself more than anything else on the entire planet, don't expect money to love you.
Mm.
Life is just a mirror. You have to fall in love with yourself. I have a relationship with myself that very few people have on the planet. I love every part of myself more than anything. I kiss myself, I hug myself. I have spent hours, hours. I probably spent since being single or separated from my ex-husband, we do week on, week off with the kids. The amount of alone time I have spent has been insane. And the inner work I've been able to do through that alone time, being able to hear the thoughts, because we get a currency of 60,000 thoughts every single day. Those 60,000 thoughts can make you a billionaire or they can make you broke as all hell. Most people have no idea how to use those 60,000 thoughts to make them rich. Every single day, if there's thoughts that are low vibe, delete. They're not yours, delete. I joke with my brain. I have a security guard for my brain. His name's Barry. If I have a low vibe thought, I'm just like, Barry, come on, tighten it up, Barry. What the fuck are you doing? Sort your shit out, Barry. Nope, delete, 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 delete. I will forever be saying delete. I'm not available. And when you're starting this work, it is a lot of deleting. Now I wake up in the morning and I feel through my mind's eye just this waterfall of next level amounts of money, cash, like overflowing. I'm always in that infinite overflow. And if I ever have a moment where I'm disconnected, I will just take a second to pause, ground myself, and come back to love or above. And the money flows rapidly. So if you're starting this out and you just need a few really, 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 really quick things to bring the money in quickly, number one is every morning writing out life scripting as if it's already done. Thank you, thank you, thank you for the millions of dollars I have now. Everything's working out now. You're living in that vibration. Do this first thing in the morning, last thing at night. First thing in the morning, visualize everything coming in. Last thing at night, visualize everything that's coming in. Do not be an amateur and go the whole day and feel like in scarcity and then come back to it at night. It will never work. It must be your dominant vibration. So put an alarm on your phone every single hour of the day, script at that time, or close your eyes and envision it coming. Everything in you right now must die. That's uncomfortable as all hell. People don't want to get rid of their friends, their shitty habits, their gossiping, their drinking alcohol, their drugs. If you can't be willing to get rid of that, say goodbye to being wealthy. And that's me just being completely and utterly honest because yes, you can manifest things, but it will always get taken away. It's like Wolf of Wall Street. If you manifest anything without love or above and being connected to source, the duality of that, which is insane darkness, will come. But what I do need to preface is that there is a life beyond your wildest dreams waiting for you, and it is so good. It's so delicious. It is so breathtaking. And there's things that are so good that you wouldn't even know to ask for.
Yeah.
And if you could just start doing this work, it will open you up and expand you to a life where you feel like you're flying every day. And nothing is more beautiful than waking up out of bed and letting life support you than waking up in fear, lack, and scarcity and anxiety and depression. I've been there and I would never go back there.
Oh my goodness. I love that so much. And I think that's just so many takeaways for everyone listening, like where to start. And I think that's the key thing for people is simply just to start as well. And once you do, you get that momentum happening and then everything you're literally like, well, why didn't I do this beforehand? Like, why did I wait for so long to do it? I absolutely love what you're all about and to do it. And thank you so much for being here and sharing your gifts with us today. Before you go, I've got 5 random questions that I would love to ask you just so that people can get to know you on a more personal basis. The first question is, do you prefer the beach or the country?
Beach, always beach,
Yeah.
always beach. But my dream house is beach in the front, country at the back.
Oh, nice. Yes, I love that. I love it. Do you prefer tea or coffee in the morning?
Coffee, but I put lion's mane or ghee in it so it suppresses that hit.
Yeah. Yeah. Would you prefer to curl up with a book or watch a movie?
Book every day.
Yeah, I still love the old school. I can't do audio books or anything like
Oh,
that.
no.
I've got to like feel it. Yeah, yeah.
I'm
I'm
the
so yeah, I'm
same.
old school like that. The other thing is that if you were to travel for a holiday, would you prefer to go by plane or by boat?
uh Plane, private jet.
Oh, yes, definitely, definitely. And if you were to have a dinner party and could invite anybody from the past or the present, who would it be?
I love that. I would invite, and the first one's coming through like Marilyn Monroe,
Oh,
Audrey Hepburn, um, Blake Lively. I don't know why. I feel like she's really kind of stepping into a lot of big movements lately. Um, I guess this is crazy because I actually don't really look up to people. Like my hero
yeah,
is me in the future. Like I struggle to
yeah,
really be drawn to people. I think there's a few, I love Matthew McConaughey. I don't know if you've read his book Green
yes.
Light. Oh, love, love, love. Arnold Schwarzenegger because of his ability to max out any industry that he steps into. Like I just love how he does that. The Dalai Lama, I know that sounds so cliche. Mother Teresa as well. And I bet there'll be heaps more that come through when this podcast is
Yeah,
over, but
yeah.
that would be a very, very interesting dinner party. I'd love
It
to
would
be in the
be
middle.
amazing. I would love to be there. Like, I think that would be incredible.
And for the Elvis Presley, actually, we need some music.
Oh yes, definitely. Yes, I'm a country girl at heart. Love it. Uh, Thank you so much. We're going to put all the details of how people can reach out to you and to work with you below. Um, Thank you again for being here and sharing your gifts with us. I'm so truly grateful.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Christine. I'm so, so, so grateful to be here. And I honor the work that you're doing in the world. And yeah, just so excited to help your community and really support you in your mission in this beautiful, beautiful planet Earth that we all get to live in together.
Thank you, beautiful. Thank you. And for those who are watching this episode, if you have liked this episode, make sure you hit the like and subscribe, leave all your comments below, and don't forget to live life to the fullest every single day. Love and light to you all.